Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is the part 4 and the last segment of the Islam reword mentoring processes that are important to understand. In the last segment, we're talking about how to integrate the reword at the masjid with the local Muslims, keeping in mind not to talk in any other language, keeping in mind not to sideline and isolate the reword. And also, point number 3, which is very important, is telling the other brothers over there, if it's a brother reword, or the other sisters there, if it's a sister reword, not to talk amongst themselves, but to talk with the reword constantly during that gathering and session. Because the reword wants to have a blast of a time in this initial first meeting with the Muslim brothers and sisters at the masjid. So therefore, as much as we can give them the ability to have fun and enjoy and recreation at that meeting and session, the better it is for us as an organization and also for the reword. Because if the reword walks out of that masjid from that first meeting thinking that these people are so stiff-hearted and not that at all warm in terms of welcoming and embracing, then the reword may not want to come again to that masjid. So it is your job and duty as a Islam volunteer to inform preemptively the brothers and sisters at the masjid to keep this in mind while they're talking to the reword during the gathering. And the topics that can be asked to talk with the reword in this gathering is about their likes and dislikes and their story, especially how did they come to Islam, what interested them into Islam. These are some good confidence building measures and strengthening of the heart and bondship with the reword during this first session. And each of the brothers or sisters that are there in this gathering, they can also opt themselves, volunteer to become friends with the reword, take their phone number or email or whatever the contact information and try to befriend them and make them feel at home and let them know that they don't have only one brother or sister in Islam as a new family member, but now this whole masjid gathering is their family and they can all share with them. Maybe one of the volunteers can volunteer to take that reword for a lunch or dinner at a Muslim halal restaurant in the local city, or someone else can volunteer to take them to another mosque that may be in the city or take them some other place. In other words, that this meeting at the masjid is a social networking meeting for that reword. So the reword should walk out thinking that, oh, gee, I have such a great big family now that I don't need to worry about being lonely and strange at all. And point number 4, which is very important, is to give the reword in this meeting some concrete positive solutions that they can use in order to cope with their family issues and problems. Because remember, as soon as they have said the Shahada and become Muslim, their family members start ostracizing them and isolating them and even taunting and teasing them, sarcasm and whatnot. So the reword at home is not feeling comfortable, feels dejected and sad. So it is our job in this meeting to give the reword enough things and tools that they can take back home to be able to cope with their family members in that perspective. Inshallah, if we keep these things in mind and try to work on that in a step-by-step process, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless this relationship between the reword and the volunteer of Islam and the other Muslim volunteers that are there in that area, and they can help them teach and learn more step by step. Towards the end of the meeting, you want to show the reword a practical way of how to pray in the masjid. Maybe the imam can nominate one of the brothers or sisters over there and also recite some Quran with them, so that in this initial meeting they learn, the reword learns the basics of tahara and najasa and qira'ah of the Quran, recitation of Quran and the salah and the prayers, so that when they go home they have some enough material to have as a homework to follow until the next meeting. So thank you very much for listening to these program segments about how to groom and nurture the Islam reword that has come into a new family. Inshallah, in the next series we'll be talking about more specific things that we should be doing with the reword. Until then, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.